What's going on, guys? Sorry I'm late. No real defined start time, but I try to get on earlier than this, so hopefully we can burn through it before midnight over on the East Coast. See how it goes. A few trades on my end from today. KLTO. I posted this on Twitter, kind of a joke, but also a bit of realism to it that this was the trade of the day, because a move like this can easily ruin your day if you try to fight it. And typically, that morning pop and opening range lows is all that it has on these gappers, especially when it's gapping 200% plus. Typically, the opening drive is 30% or less, and then that's the high a day. So once it starts to firm up and break through those highs, I'm wrong. My data is no longer present. So no point in fighting it, and took the loss, and a good loss it was. I do think that it's notable and to be aware of that there's probably going to be some 20 and 30% gappers tomorrow. So just be careful shorting early pre-market. Let them push and fail because everyone will be looking for the next KLTO. The PR on this thing this morning: an approach to increase longevity and healthy lifespan, replace a silent gene. It was something to do with mice that I had saw. Gene therapy boosted lifespan by 20% in mice. Anti-aging breakthrough. Once it's on mice, I typically am skeptical, and then once I pulled up the dilution on this thing, it it just seemed like one big joke. But it ended up going higher, so there's enough shorts caught in this thing that it kept going. So I think, keep some, if there's a longevity PR, if there's a stock coming from 20 cents, anything with mice in the PR, looking for any similarities. It could be quick longs if you're chasing PRs, but definitely not something to fight short until they start to fail to fall through, given that everyone will be looking for those 20-cent names to run to $2 again. So that was that trade there. Beamy, I traded this one small, just a quick trade. It was breaking this little higher low trend right here. The volume just wasn't there. I was looking for it to resolve that trend break immediately, and once it didn't, I moved on, and it got a nice wick bought up. Wasn't really a trade I was prepared to take, but if it lost that 240s, I think it would snap pretty quick. So I just hit it, wanted to see 240s break and resolve right away, and once it didn't, I just moved on. NVTS, currently still in this one. Big picture breakout. We had this descending wedge, broke out. I was looking for it to break and build through 690s from the watch list plan yesterday that we talked about. So right here, we got that push into sevens. If you recall, right over here, I bought that straight up spike into 7 and didn't wait for it to confirm, and it retraced its whole move. I think it was that day. Or was it this day? Could have been that day. Wasn't too long ago. So I didn't want the same thing to happen. So I let it push, started small versus low a day. Once we got these higher lows, VWAP reclaim, I scaled. We got the high a day break, I added. Now I'm a bit more than full size. And then we got the breakout of the daily highs through 750s. So that was the last scale, and moved us up to this dip low here in the 640s instead of 630s. So got the right to put some more shares on. So far, looking a bit like that live wire close where you get that weak close. Typically, I'm a fan of those weak closes that shakes out all these longs with the bad averages up near highs. And if this can gap and start to break through 750s again, could start to get going. I saw Nate mentioning it because Novitas, the PR was with the NVIDIA news that they're working together. Excuse me. And NVIDIA was looking really good this morning, breaking out through those 143s, 144s. And it got a nice straight up morning spike, but ultimately failed the rest of the day. Which isn't the strongest action you want to see in a breakout. So if this gets hit, it could drag Novitas with it. Ideally, I want to see this. Obviously, I'm long, so I'd like to see it higher. So this could start showing some relative strength, maybe separate from NVIDIA and get that move into 8, 10, 12, something like that. But nonetheless, I am currently swinging it. See where we're gapping tomorrow. If this starts to fail sub 7, 690s, etc., I probably just move on. I doubt I'm going to give it all the way back down to the 6. So we will see, but I'm still along that one. And then UAVS. This one here was from the watch list yesterday as well through that 140 break. And I am currently still long this one as well. Bought the Gap and Crap reversal here, opening range breakout. It went straight up through those 140s. This is not healthy price action, so I locked some in. I tried to get some. I had orders at 165, and it just barely missed me. But locking some in, now I have some realized, some house's money. And I'm currently in the money, still up on my position, so I have the ability to add back those shares. Pulled back a bit deeper than I expected, but all in all, still kept low a day risk intact. Pulled back, higher lows versus VWAP, so now can move risk up a little bit. So ideally, I would like to see this not break back below 140, 142. I'd like to see this back above the breakout level tomorrow in the 140s. Maybe it consolidates 140 to 160, and then we get a lighter volume breakout. But with the drone and aerospace stocks, they had that strong move off the open, had some sector strength that I think dragged it with it. But big fails into close. We had, what was that other one? Is it a STS and Rocket Lab? Lunar was another one. Gosh, there was a few other names. I can't remember them all. But it seemed like a sector move, the way that it was trading with all of its sympathies with the aerospace and drone names. PRZO, is that another one? Maybe. But anyways, I am still swinging that one as well. Still have a position there. So a couple long swings from the watch list yesterday. AVTS, are you anticipating the breakout? I assume NVTS. And more on the breakout, so some on the anticipation and some on the confirmation. It was a early entry idea through this descending wedge. So we got lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then I'm just spraying through it. And then the confirmation of the big picture move was through that 750s. So this was like an early entry through low a day risk, and then I'm adding with risk on the higher lows, was how I traded it. But it was like an intradaily setup. It wasn't strictly daily. If you look at the watch list I had from yesterday, I wanted to see that 690s break. We had prior top, prior top, prior top, prior top 4 times. So once it broke through there, I felt like it was game on. And I'm fine putting on a starter like this position right here, where if it continues higher, I can still add through 750s because I have some house's money here from 680s. But this is what I prefer, is we get some constructive action, some new risk levels to set up, and some grindy action to keep shorts in there, trying to short pops, and keeps them all in there. So this was the majority of the position. This was just a small add while it was working in my favor. Because objectively speaking, if I don't have these entries, this is also an entry for me through 750s. And did you risk 650 as the base? Yeah, once I started adding. So right here, I'm probably about maybe half to a third size versus low a day. Here, I'm full size versus low a day. This add through the highs, I'm moving risk to 650. And now here, I'm a little, probably like 1.5 R off of 650s. So once I'm able to move my risk up, then I have permission to add, keeping dollar risk the same. Dollar risk in check, keeps emotion in check as the trade continues to work, and look to add to the winners. Still the highest close it's had. So even though it did close weak, I still don't see this as a trend fail whatsoever. I want to see it still hold above 690s. But it's the highest close it's had since that PR day. So still looks like it wants higher to me. Still looks bullish. We will see. What else? Circle, a little bit of a pullback. I contemplated this one today, where we went from 60 to 140. It was a bit of an exhaustion gap, but volume just wasn't there for the exhaustion this morning. I saw Lance make some comments about how he was short calls, and he saw that as like a broken slot machine this morning, but it wasn't really in my wheelhouse. Obviously still tons to learn, but I still had that one on watch. Iron, I was looking for a first red day on this one, and it seems like the trend lately has been the excessive gap downs that I'm just never willing to chase. And once we get this gap down and pullback, this 380s is now right at that daily 4 EMA. So I see that as a reset of the extension. Once it's touched the 4 EMA, that's like my max goal potential for these pullback and fade trades. It also aligned with prior support looking left. So up here, I don't see this being a ton of bag holders. So I'm not super interested in shorting that. Maybe if you start to break under these 380s, could get like a retest into this liquidity pocket back down to 3, but it's still not like a great setup at this point. I'm just keeping it on watch because it's a percent gainer, still trading volume, but I don't really have anything to do with it. Mullen got those pops we were looking for. I just was not on desk by the time it started to pull back. We got that weak open, started to grind, squeeze out, hard cracks, and then right around here, I'm still looking. We got hard crack, lower high, but this is the kind of name where if you look at it like a couple days ago, I would much prefer to be on desk when trading this thing because it can get pretty wild. So by the time it started to fail, I was already long gone. But if anyone took the idea for the watch list, congrats. We got those pops, higher the better, before round tripping. Looks like dilution has set in here. KNW, I like this one for a first red day. It's ran here from 50 cents and then big exhaustion gap today that held sideways. And if this starts breaking today's support, 280-ish starts to act as a top. I think there's enough people underwater that this could retest that gap fill. And I think it'll be a lot less crowded tomorrow, given that you've got KLTO now taking all these small cap traders' attention and everybody looking for the next KLTO. You'll have a bunch of these cheapy names starting to run, and the maximum dollar block's just going to be spread out across too many names. I think this one could be a quieter idea. So far, it's gapping down a little bit, but not too much. So I will look for it to hold red, 280s confirm, and look for a gap fill back down to the high ones. UAVS I already touched on, NVTS I already touched on. What else? KLTO we touched on. Circle touched on. VSA's got no volume. Nate's been swinging this one from like over here. I just saw it as a non-compliant name closing above $1 for 2 days. So they could try to run it, but I'm just going to delete that off my list. It doesn't trade anything. So main watches tomorrow for me, I think, are NVTS, UAVS, and KNW. I think are probably my main few names. Well, we're right on schedule. I just ran through scan quick my little list there, and I didn't see too much else. So right on schedule to drop it off before midnight for you East Coasters. So thank you guys, the few of you tuning in for the late night one. The rest of the guys, I presume, will watch the replay. But I've got 3 main watches going into tomorrow, and I will try not to overdo it. And hopefully get some gappers in those swings, and we'll see if we get some KLTO sympathies with some cheapies. See if we can get some of those running too. So, alrighty, guys, trade them well tomorrow. I'll see some of you in the room. The rest of you, we'll see you on the next watch list. Take it easy, guys. Peace.